we're going to go over is just general information regarding the university and the graduate school. We're also going to highlight our IT program and also our clinical mental health counseling program. We're going to feature our current students in the student panel. So if you have any questions you would like to ask our student panel, this is a great opportunity to get a student's perspective. They're going to be talking about what programs they're a part of, their experience, especially now with COVID and being a little bit more virtual, but still in class, how that's going, and just what they're currently up to in the program that they're in. We wanted to highlight a lot of our program directors that couldn't be here in person. We did a few webinars a few months ago featuring nursing graduate programs, our analytics and modeling program, and a few others, which is why we're going to link our YouTube channel towards the end. I think it's a great opportunity if you want to get in-depth information regarding any of those programs, that you definitely take a look at the video that is maybe towards the preference of your program. Also, we just, our marketing team just finished an MBA video, which I think may be informative for anyone interested in the MBA program. But this is just a nice quick highlight of the university and some of our program directors, so I hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Mandy Morrill. I am the Program Director for the Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program here at Valparaiso University.
Hi, it's Betsy Burrowflock from the Department of English. I specialize in literature of the 16th and 17th century, in Shakespeare, and in women writers of the time period.
Hello, and thank you for your interest in Valparaiso University's Graduate School. I'm Dr. Amanda Scott. I am the founding program director for the Occupational Therapy Department here at Valparaiso University.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Genovese, Program Director for the Masters in Health Administration program in the College of Nursing and Health Professions at Valparaiso University.
Hello, my name is Dr. Dave Rolling. I oversee the master's degree program in sports administration, as well as the undergraduate program in sports management here within the Department of Kinesiology.
Hi, my name is Nick Rosasco. I'm the program director for the Masters in Cybersecurity.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Julie Cook. I'm the Assistant Dean of Graduate Nursing at the College of Nursing and Health Professions. I serve as the program director for our MSN program that prepares nurse educators, our BSN to DNP program that prepares nurses as family nurse practitioner, and our postmaster's DNP program that prepares advanced practice nurses who are already certified for more of a leadership role.
Hi, I'm Selena Anderson, and I am an associate professor of English with a specialty in English linguistics and a focus on language variation. I teach classes in TESOL, that's teaching English to speakers of other languages, linguistics, or the scientific study of language, sociolinguistics, history of the English language, and grammar, style, and editing.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Kolba, and I am the Program Director for the Master of Science in Analytics and Modeling. I'm also an Associate Professor in the Department of Mathematics and Statistics at Valpo.
I feel like I have so many things I could say, so many great things to tell you, but I have limited time. So I just want to hit a few highlights. One is that all of our faculty are actually clinicians as well. So we bring our real life experiences into the classroom.
Some of the more fun things we get to do are to look at the way the internet is put together and why that makes security problems possible, the way a computer is put together and the way that makes security problems possible.
And one of the things I love about being a professor of literature is the opportunity to read in a community of interested readers. And even when we're reading literature that can be hundreds of years old, to be able to see new things, sometimes each time of relevance to our lives today.
I have been a nurse educator in Northwest Indiana for more than 20 years, and I've been an advanced practice nurse in the family nurse practitioner role here for more than 30 years. I have experience in general, vascular, and thoracic surgery, as well as family practice, corporate health, and college health.
We offer a post-professional DROT or Doctorate in Occupational Therapy for existing therapists who are already practicing and licensed as occupational therapists.
We're seeking students here to take advantage of our alumni network and our industry connections to get some experience even in that first semester, the Division I athletics level as well as professional levels. We currently have people placed at just about every professional sports organization, major league, minor league, as well as some area Division I colleges within a couple of hours from Valparaiso.
The program is designed to create graduates that can work within the healthcare sector, which is the largest growing sector of employment projected in the United States for the next 10 years. As you could see, just with COVID and the things that we've had of changes within healthcare and the reform that we're expected to see in healthcare, that there'll be many opportunities.
There are so many things you can do with a master's in counseling degree. You can go into private practice, you can work in hospitals, you can work with families, you can work with couples, you can work in substance abuse, you can work with domestic violence, really anything you're going to be able to do with a degree like this, which is pretty incredible.
We work around your working schedules for when we plan our class times. So it really does cater to the working occupational therapist. And again, you take one class at a time, so that way you have a chance to actually master the course content and also to begin immediately applying the information that you learn in the program to your current working situation.
My favorite thing about being a VU English professor is helping students to explore the variety of interdisciplinary ways that linguistics applies to their own fields of study.
So to give you an overview of the Analytics and Modeling program, it's a very interdisciplinary program. on the integration of knowledge and methodologies from mathematics, statistics, and computer science to analyze and solve problems in science, industry, business, government, and other fields.
Another really awesome thing about our program is that we're K-CREP accredited, which is a really important piece when you're going into this field, and that's going to help you tremendously when you're going up for licensure.
You also get to customize your area of specialization based off of your area of interest and your current expertise.
We have a great deal of fun. Are fully distanced if you need to be. In fact, most of our students currently are folks with day jobs. And that means we have a pretty good ability to provide a lot of flexibility for folks who are interested in pursuing a degree with us.
If you're interested in the program, please get a hold of me through the graduate school, and thank you for your time.
Please don't hesitate to reach out to me or any of the other faculty if you have more questions or if there's any way that we can help you as you're making your decision. Thank you so much for considering our program. Have a great day.
I look forward to hearing from you, and I'm happy to answer any questions either by email or through the folks in the grad school. Hope to hear from you, and thank you for coming to talk about Valpo.
So look forward to meeting you and hearing more about you, and so please feel free to contact me. My email is amanda.scott@valpo.edu.
If you have any further questions about the Analytics and Modeling program, I am more than happy to meet with you. My email address is listed there. Thank you.
I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. You can reach me by email, by phone, or that we can set up a face-to-face meeting also.
Now, I'd be happy to answer any additional questions that you have after this visit day. You can simply contact me at julie.koch@valpo.edu, or you can reach back out to one of our graduate school staff and they'll put you in touch with me. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great remainder of your day.
So here are just two programs that we're going to highlight a little bit more in detail. Like I mentioned, those are a few of our program directors. They are fantastic. I really feel that they take the time to meet with prospective students and get to know what they are interested in and what program they are seeking to do. So if you have any questions or want to look at our YouTube page after this visit day, I really recommend it because we have some really great content where you get to know and see the curriculum more in depth, just the admissions process for that particular program a little bit more in depth. So I think that if you are really interested, please stick around towards the end as well to view a little bit more.
And Monica, too, I think it would be a good time to give a COVID update, actually.
Yes.
Before we advance too much further.
Thank you, Ryan. A few things have changed, and we do have a few updates regarding COVID. For the graduate school, we are available in the office, but our recommendation is to contact the graduate school or the particular person in the graduate school via email to see what their availability is. We are and I excuse my little guest, my dog Rocky, but we want to let you know that we are physically in the office, but only each of us once a week. So what that means is we are going to be able to meet with you in person if that is your preference, but we ask that you schedule an appointment with us. We also ask that you email us prior to you coming into Kretzmann just to make sure that you are speaking with the correct contact. But again, Zoom and Google Meet, what's not great is the COVID, obviously, but what's so great is the technology we are able to utilize to still be able to contact everybody and still be in touch with each other virtually. So one thing that I do ask is for you to contact us and for us to be able to schedule a time so that way you can either meet with Ryan, Jessica, Stephanie, a few others in our office at the appropriate day that we are there. with the university as a whole, I think the university has done a wonderful job in keeping students, staff, and faculty updated as to what's going on with our students, with the campus community in general. One app that we all have downloaded is Campus Clear. And what's great about this app is that you are able to check in if you are physically on campus to let the campus know how you are feeling. If you are feeling any symptoms, if you are feeling well, it's a really great way for us to really determine what is going on. Of course, it's not mandated, but I think it's great that we're really being proactive in how we are monitoring everything. For example, if a student is feeling ill, our campus clinic is available for students to seek advice as to what to do next. We also have our staff and faculty checking up on each other, letting their supervisors know and also HR know, and of any symptoms or any contact they have come in contact with, maybe someone with COVID. So I think that we want to ensure our prospective students and our current campus community that we are taking this very seriously. We want to make sure that you are feeling safe, whether you are going to class in person, which our faculty have done a really great job in making sure that everyone's social distance, doing things half virtual, half in person. We've also adjusted our spring schedule to really accommodate the flu and COVID season, if you want to say that. So we have adjusted our spring schedule. We have gotten rid of our spring break, but we will have our Easter break. And you can see that on our website. If you have any questions regarding the change in schedule, when it's going to be virtual, when are you going to be in class, and also is determined by the faculty members. So sometimes you will not know until that particular faculty member will decide whether they're going to be in class or in person. I find that especially with the graduate school, it's accommodated our graduate students a lot because a lot of the in-person work is still there, but because we know you are working professionals and have a really busy schedule with either family or other obligations, it's really accommodated our graduate students to be able to complete their studies virtually or in person. And so we made sure to continue to keep that going, and our faculty have been really great. Anything that I have missed, Ryan, that you can think of regarding COVID updates?
Well, let's just talk a little bit about the data, what the experience has been for fall. I'm looking at our dashboard right now, actually. Valpo.edu, our website, has a nice dashboard. They've been keeping updated with each new case. So right now, I think we're looking at active positive cases of 20 on campus. I believe that's a mixture of students and staff and faculty. So you're looking at the whole picture there. Out of the total campus population of 3,000 plus students, very low percentage, right? So right now, the university has a special committee that looks at, what's going on, makes decisions, makes recommendations according to the data that keeps pouring in. And we've been taking it very seriously and being very cautious as a campus. And you can see this too, I think, with Indiana's response. It's been very serious, but very cautious. So Monica mentioned updates to the calendar. This semester for fall has been an interesting one. It's going to end early before Thanksgiving, actually. And then there's going to be this longer break in between. And then classes for spring are going to start on January 25th, I believe. So everything the university has been doing recently has kind of revolved around what the situation is with COVID. What's the best way to take care of our students, make sure they're safe, make sure they're still having a great educational experience. A lot of programs have gone almost completely online in result to this. But of course, some programs have that very important in-person component. So it's been up to each department to determine their own response pedagogically. Some have been able to easily transition to an online delivery modality. Others, you got a hybrid going on. But one thing's for sure, everybody's taking it very seriously and making sure that our students have that great combination of both safety and experience. So right now, things look pretty good. We're going to have that longer break, which is going to give people time to spend time with their families. If any cases would happen while they're traveling or things like that, they'll know about it before they start classes again in spring. So we'll start spring off on a good foot, provided the situation in the country also stays good. So let's hope, cross our fingers for that too. But so far, I think Valpo's response has been pretty tremendous. So thank you, Monica. I think, do we have our guest panelists for CMHC on board? I see Amanda.
We do. We have Amanda here.
Awesome.
I'm really excited to introduce to you Dr. Amanda Zalahowski.
Thank you so much, Monica and Ryan. What a great event. It's nice to sort of meet you all. So I am the admissions coordinator for the Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program. You got to meet my colleague, Dr. Mandy Morrill, our program director, in the video a few minutes ago. So yeah, thank you all for being here. If you have specific questions, I'm going to talk about the program, but please feel free to put them in the chat. If any of you are specifically interested in the counseling program, let me know that in the chat too, and be sure to direct things your way as I talk through some aspects of our program. So yeah, let me just sort of start with the overview, and thanks again to Monica for her hard work in putting all this together. So our program is about 2 years, so 24 months, including 2 summers. Hi, Amber, I'm so glad you're interested. Welcome, and I'm glad you're here. So we have a number of flexible part-time options too. We have a number of people do the program in 3 years, 4 years. You're gonna get to meet Carol in a bit too, which I'm really excited, one of our rock star students. And she is actually taking, I think, about 3 years to do the program, which she can tell you about her experience doing it on more of a part-time program. Hi, Kristen, welcome. So one of the, I think, things that maybe Carol will affirm and our students love and appreciate is that we do not typically have classes on Fridays. So just to give you a sense of our structure, class times vary. They usually meet once a week for about 2 hours and 45 minutes or so. And they range. Some of them are in the mornings and afternoons, some are in the evenings. So we try to vary the times of the classes so that, you know, we can accommodate people who are working in other jobs, maybe doing the program part-time, but also to accommodate the clinical training schedule, which I'll talk more about in just a bit. So yeah, you take a variety of classes over 2 years. It's usually, if you're doing the program full-time, about 4 classes a semester. And again, they meet 1 day a week. So you'll also, one of the other features of our program, I think, which makes it pretty unique from other 2 or 3 year master's degree programs in mental health counseling, is that you can do up to 4 different clinical training placements. So you'll start your clinical training in the summer after your first year, if you're doing the program full time in that 2 sequence. And you'll do a practicum placement that first summer, an internship in fall of your second year, another internship in spring of your second year, and then an advanced internship in that final summer. So that gives you the opportunity to be at 4 different sites, which again is really pretty rare in just a 2-year master's degree program. And then, but you can also, if you really like your site and want to stay for a second rotation there, a second semester, you can do that too. So people have the opportunity at sort of, both breadth and depth in terms of their clinical training, which I think is pretty unique. Okay, next slide, Monica. And hi, Jasmine, I see that you're here too. It's good to see you. So, all right, academic excellence, definitely something I think that all of the counseling faculty are most proud of. We love getting to be with you in the classroom or virtually this year in our online classrooms for some of the classes. And there's a real range of the types of courses you take. There are foundational counseling courses that you take in your first year. Things like psychopathology, so learning about the different disorders, human development, counseling theories. So really just to give you that strong foundation before you then get to start taking electives. And in the program, you have the opportunity to take 5 different electives, which is also pretty unique for a 2-year master's degree program. And that starts in your first year. So in the spring of your first year, you get to take your first elective, and then you take an elective each summer, and then fall in spring of your second year. So a wide range of courses. And you also have the opportunity to do some specialty courses, which I'll talk more about in a bit with the trauma program. I talked a little bit already about clinical training as far as when you do that. In terms of the types of clinical training experiences, Carol can tell you more about her experience with that too. But I mean, it runs the gamut, right? Everything from hospitals to schools to correctional facilities, jails and prisons, to private practices, to inpatient and residential programs. One of my things that most surprised me when I came to Valpo about 10 years ago was just how many different opportunities we have within a 1 hour radius, because we're also close enough to Chicago that you can be doing some clinical training placements in Chicago if you want, and farther to the east in South Bend. So if you just sort of think about a 1 hour radius from where Valpo is physically located, we have so many different clinical training opportunities. And I can't think of a student that's been in our program in my decade here that has said, I really want to get training in with such and such population or such and such setting, and we haven't been able to make that happen. So I think that's one of our biggest features, is the range of clinical training opportunities. And then finally, you have the opportunity to be involved in research if you want. We have a number of students who come here and say, I really want to go on for a doctoral program in clinical psych or in counseling or something like that. And so they really need to get some solid hands-on research experience. And that's definitely something that we can give you here. We also, even if you're just interested maybe more in the population or topic of somebody's research, that's a great reason to get involved too, even if you're not interested in doing research long-term. So I'll tell you a little bit more about our faculty in just a second and the types of research and expertise areas that they have going on. So there's me. So my areas are particularly in the areas of trauma and in forensic psychology. So I do a lot of research in juvenile justice facilities with kids and adolescents who have experienced trauma and then go on to be involved in our juvenile justice system for a variety of reasons. So I spend a lot of time thinking about people's traumatic experiences, and most recently, a lot of my research focus has been on how the COVID-19 pandemic is impacting children and parents, and increasing things like stress and child maltreatment and such. So I have lots of research projects going on that that I love having students work with me, especially our graduate students, because then they take on these really amazing mentoring roles with some of our undergraduate students who are involved in research. So next we have Dr. Mandy Morrill, who you got to meet in the video. She's our program director. Her areas of expertise tend to be on sibling conflict and sibling relationships. So she does some really interesting work in that area. She's also the faculty advisor for Chi Sigma Iota, which is our Counseling Honors Association. Dr. Tony Suarez is our clinical training coordinator and also a faculty co-advisor for CSI or Chi Sigma Iota. And his areas of expertise, he does work both with thinking about couples and the experiences of graduate students who are in marriages or partnerships and how that impacts their relationship. But his other area of expertise is in sports counseling and working with athletes who are, maybe leaving their sport and thinking about taking on new identities and roles in life outside of their identifying with their particular sport. So he's got some cool stuff going on. And then Dr. Susie Wise, her areas of expertise tend to be on LGBTQ plus populations and counseling with LGBTQ plus clients, groups, and so on. But also she does work in grief and bereavement. And so she has some really interesting expertise in that area. And oh my gosh, Monica, I see a typo. I'm so sorry. That's my fault. I see that she's the faculty advisor for Valpo Counselors for Social Justice, which I forgot to put the E on the end of justice. So this is a chapter that's run exclusively by our students, and so important right now. They're doing some really great events focused on social justice in our current area, our climate of civil unrest and sort of racial reckoning. The CSJ chapter has been doing some really, really great work in thinking about that. So those are our stellar faculty, in addition to working with them on research and having them in the classroom often. So that's one of the cool things I think about this program, is that you get to know all of us pretty well, and we get to know you pretty well, because we have you in a number of classes and we're working really closely with you on picking your clinical training settings or sites where you're having advisors. And so we get to know you really well. So there are also a number of assistantship opportunities in the program. Most years we're able to fund positions for about a third to half of the incoming students. Our incoming cohort tends to be anywhere from 15 to 20 students each year. And so we have a few opportunities to be a TA for some of our undergrad courses, to be a program assistant. So we have assistantship positions to work with me in admissions, to work with Dr. Morrill on programmatic type tasks, and to work with Dr. Suarez on the clinical training placements. So a number of different assistantships. There are also periodically research assistantships through different grants that we bring in for our various projects. Sometimes the graduate school funds a number of research assistants, which is great. I currently have a graduate student research assistant that is helping me with a lot of that pandemic parenting research, and that is funded through the grad school, which has been wonderful. And then most students who have really stellar academic records coming in are also eligible for a merit scholarship, which is usually several $1,000s right off the top of your tuition in that first year. And so that tends to be really helpful when you're coming into the program. All right, next slide, please. So yeah, I alluded to this earlier. So we have a new trauma-informed care certificate program that can be done in conjunction with the mental health counseling program. It can also be done completely by itself. So for any, post-baccalaureate student interested in learning more about trauma-informed care, which is so needed and is going to be needed even more so as we move through our hopefully post-pandemic functioning. We know that there are going to be some pretty serious mental health fallouts from the current pandemic. And so I just think that this is something we need more than ever in many industries, is a greater understanding of how to help people who've been through a crisis or a trauma. And COVID-19 is a collective global trauma that we are experiencing in our communities. So it's a 15-credit program for those of you who would be thinking about doing it concurrently with the mental health counseling program. The only thing you have to do over and above your mental health counseling courses are 2 additional courses, so 6 additional credits, because 3 of the 5 electives you take in the CMHC program can be counted toward the CMHC program. And Carol is doing that. She's doing both the CMHC program and the trauma-informed care certificate, so she can tell you a bit about her experience there. So yeah, let me think. I think that is it. So I don't know if you wanted me to do questions now, Monica, if there were any.
I think that would be a good idea. That way we can separate the questions from the clinical mental health counseling students and also the IT students.
Sounds good. Any questions? And feel free to unmute yourselves or type them in the chat if you'd like.
I have a question.
Yeah, hi, Kristen.
I was going to ask, I already filled out all the stuff that I need to for my application, like my essay and all that stuff.
Excellent.
I was just wondering, like, when I might find out about that.
Yeah.
Like, have I submitted it all the way? Like, I submitted it, but I don't see anywhere where it says, like, okay, you did it.
So Monica can answer your status, and then I can tell you about our process. Yeah, go ahead, Monica.
Yes. What I can do, Kristen, I can look into your portal and your file and see where you are in the process. And this is something that I recommend for all applicants. Your portal is a really great resource. If you see that all items are marked off in your checklist, that means we have received everything and we're going to take some time to process it. There is going to be a line of processing, which I will explain later. A few people touch your application before we give you a decision. But with some of the programs like clinical mental health counseling, because there is a deadline date, a lot of the time you will be notified a little bit closer to that date. I can at least let you know that your file is complete and ready for review, but sometimes what the clinical mental health counseling faculty like to do is collect all the applications and then decide who they want to invite for an interview day. I think interview day is really great. It's not just a resource for the faculty, but it's also a resource for all those that are deciding between programs, because it allows you to ask questions. It allows you to review everything, make that final decision. And so sometimes with clinical mental health counseling and a few others that have very specific deadline dates, there's going to be not a lag, but there's going to be a selective time period in which you'll be notified when you're going to move forward with the interview process. So I will at least let you know that you're good on your end. I will check your file after visit day and then send you a quick email. And then if you want to check your portal at any time, if there is something that is maybe you missed a letter recommendation, you're not sure who sent it, I can see who actually sent it to us and who you may need to follow up with. Things like that, I'm more than happy to assist you with.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Monica, too. And then, Kristen, just for your reference, kind of moving forward, as Monica noted, when it's complete is when it gets sent to us. And so then the counseling faculty review it and then make a determination, or, for whether to invite that person for an interview. As Monica mentioned, we tend to host an interview day late March, usually mid to late March. We might be able to do it a little earlier this year because we're not working against our spring break, which usually we have a 2-week spring break and we're kind of working around that. But for somebody like you who submitted it so early, we probably can fast track that if you'd like, and just do an individual interview for you, not have you wait all the way until March if you'd prefer to kind of fast track things, which we're definitely open to do. So yeah, we can just kind of get in touch with you. And usually what happens is once we review your application, see that, yeah, great, we'd really like to take the next step with you in the admissions process, we'll reach out and then give you the option for whether you want to fast track things or wait until that, you know, bigger interview day. Last year we were able to do our interview day virtually and pull that off and recruit a wonderful class, and our first year cohort is really fantastic. So we'll just kind of be monitoring, like both Ryan and Monica said, how things are going in the spring to determine whether we can do it in person or we'll continue to do it again virtually or some sort of hybrid, depending on what people feel comfortable with. We're pretty flexible about that, and wanting to just meet people where they are and what they feel safe doing. So yeah, so we'll be in touch, and thanks for asking about that. And you know, you can just let us know if you want us to fast track that. Okay.
Okay, so question. Can I just email either of you or both of you?
Sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
I see
Amber had a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Got it. No problem. Thanks. So Amber, what determines the availability of the research assistant positions? Excellent question. What always determines the ability of these things? Our budget, right? So it just sort of depends each year how many positions there is funding allocated for. This year, gosh, I think we were able to do 7 or 8 positions, which is pretty consistent. We really didn't lose any positions, thankfully, you know, this year, even in the midst of various kind of budget reallocations and such. So several of those positions, actually most of those positions are funded by our department. Some historically have been funded by the graduate school. And so, like I mentioned, our research assistant position this year. So yeah, so it just depends on the budget each year. And what we typically do is after we've admitted our incoming cohort, we just let them know, you know, hey, this is the process for applying for the intern or the assistantships. These are the positions we have available. That usually ends in early to midsummer when we have the final you know, word on what our budget will be for those positions. And so everybody has an opportunity to apply for those if they're interested. There's also quite a few positions across campus. So our students have worked in the IRB, the Institutional Review Board. They typically take on one or more of our students in residence life. The graduate school is always wonderful about hiring our students for various graduate student aid positions as they have them open. So yeah, there's lots of positions across campus as well. And you also asked about tuition waivers, which typically these positions work more like a job, like a, why can't I think of the term for that? When federal aid, work study, like that. So it's actually a paycheck that you get as opposed to a tuition waiver. So you can apply that funding to your tuition if you'd like, or your bills, or you know, whatever else it might be. So that's how those positions work. And then I see a follow-up. So if you complete a master's thesis, so I'll just say a quick word about master's theses, but we tend to talk about this a lot in the visit day. If people want to do a master's thesis, they're certainly welcome to. It's not required in our program. The reason that people might opt to do it is if they want to go on to a doctoral program and really want to have kind of a solid research portfolio. But even in those cases, what we often recommend to students is actually that you can kind of get more bang for your buck working with various faculty in their research labs and on projects where you can then be a co-author in a publication, present at a conference, like have a more intensive and broader research experience than devoting 2 year electives to having to just focus on that thesis. But we'll talk about that with people individually, depending on their goals. And it's certainly an option if people want to do a thesis. We're happy to support that. Okay. I know I'm probably out of time, Monica, so I just see one more question. And then, so do you have any more insight from Sharita? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Any more insight on how to obtain grants for the educational field? Oh my gosh, I wish I knew the golden answer to that, because we'd be bringing in a lot more grant. Grant funding is really tough right now, as you're probably aware, you know, especially as we're going to change and you know, figure out what's going to happen with a new administration. I didn't mean to project before the news channels are projecting, but depending on what happens at the federal government level, that's going to dictate a lot of what happens with a lot of these grants, and even at the state level. So there are individual grants. Some of these, we're always putting out these announcements when we get them from things like the American Counseling Association, NBCC, the National Board of Certifying Counselors. So there are a number of these agencies and organizations specific to counseling that have all kinds of student scholarships and grants. And we're always sending that information out to incoming students and our current students as soon as we receive it. So that's sometimes where I channel some of my searching and energy is for those. At the state level, there are sometimes grants for students who are going to specifically go into counseling programs because, and I think and I hope we're going to see more of those because of the massive mental health need, you know, that we're going to see in the years ahead. So yeah, but we can help you kind of target your searching in better ways, you know, or more intentional ways. Okay. And feel free to email me. Monica has my email. It was also on some of those slides, and or just, you know, you can search for any of us faculty in the counseling program on the psychology department website, and we're always happy to answer questions. Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Like I mentioned, this is being recorded. So what I really love now is sending prospective students past webinars that we've done. I think that's such a wealth of information that they are receiving in the videos, and they can pause it, they can rewind. So I think this is going to be really great for you to look back at, especially with contact information and other links that you may have missed or may have not needed or think you needed until later. So definitely look back at our YouTube channel once we add it to that page.
Great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cover our second highlighted program of today. That's information technology. My name is Ryan Segali. I'm the Director of Graduate Enrollment Operations at Valparaiso University. I work in the graduate school with Monica and a few other folks who take care of our graduate students. Now, today we're just highlighting two programs, clinical mental health counseling and information technology. We had a lot of great response from registrants for visit day. Unfortunately, we have over 20 programs, so it's kind of hard for us to cover all of them at once, but you got some great info on a broader spread of the programs from the PDs themselves earlier with that video. We'll cover a few more details on programs later in the presentation. And of course, always feel free to ask us questions. We'll cover some questions at the end. If you don't have any answers for what you have, bring your questions to us. We'll take care of them today. If not today, then by email or whatever. Thank you, Amanda. And thank you again, Amanda, for the great presentation. So today we're going to talk about information technology, or Master of Science, 37 credit program, which along with a lot of our other graduate programs you're going to find is very doable in a very short time frame. So graduate programs, not like undergrad where you spend 4 years oftentimes. They're programs that you can complete even while you're working within a very short time frame. For me, myself, I did the cybersecurity program at Valpo. I completed it part-time in 2.5 years, and that was taking a semester off to get married. So it's totally doable, even though it can be a little strenuous at times, can raise your stress levels. So, but that's what we're here for. That's what you got to do to advance sometimes in the field. That's what you got to do as a student, especially if you want to pursue graduate coursework. It's definitely more rigorous than undergrad. It's something that will challenge you, but you will be rewarded in the end by it. So, and this program specifically has a great kind of broad level of interest for not only domestic students, but also our international students. So Valparaiso University has a nice body of international students from a diverse array of countries: China, India, Pakistan, Nigeria, countries in Europe, Eastern Europe. So IT as a STEM program has a very specific interest level for those students. And Monica, you can go back to that previous slide. We'll cover some of those little topics on it. Highly applied approach, requirement of a capstone experience, which can be an internship or a research project. A lot of students opt for the research project, but we support any students that want to go get an internship. We just had a great student in the program, I believe, got an internship at Tesla. So some good opportunities there. Of course, you know, you got to work hard at it. If you want to get out there, get the higher internships, better internships, just got to work hard at it. And this is a very kind of hands-on program. Right now, a lot of the coursework is being done remotely, but IT is one of those things that even when you're remote, you have great opportunities to engage with systems. And it's actually a great case study for a lot of students. I know when I was in cybersecurity, part of the coursework involved connecting remotely to university servers, getting into the networks, kind of messing around with them, tinkering with them, attacking them, doing fun things like that. So great way to get hands-on experience, actual practical experience, doing dirty work inside systems and networks. And whether you're cybersecurity or IT, same deal. So go ahead and move on, Monica. And see some good questions coming in already. We're going to cover some of these a little bit later. Now, core requirements for IT. We're going to cover the curriculum real quick, but these are the classes that you're going to be expected to take as part of the program. Like a lot of our graduate programs, it has some capacity for you to customize it, to kind of branch off into your specific interests. There's just an expectation of some central material that you're going to want to understand, get a very solid mastery of in order to be able to graduate. And then you have your options to pick out what you want. As far as these core requirements, you got data mining, which is a big, important course. You have some introductory courses for programming, information tech, ethics, and information management. Now, the IT program is a good program for both people who have experience in IT and computer science and people who want to transition into that field. It's not the sort of program that requires a lot of intense understanding prior to starting the program. So a lot of people we call career crossers, maybe people who want to work in the field but want to expand their skills and already have an undergraduate degree. You've already demonstrated that you have good academics at the undergraduate level. This is a good option for those people. So you're going to get a good introductory understanding of a lot of concepts. You're going to get some in-depth understanding of concepts, but it works for lots of different audiences, lots of different backgrounds. Here's some of the management track courses. There's 2 tracks, management and computing, and there is kind of a third track as far as information security. And that track allows you to pursue some of the courses that are in cybersecurity. And each of these tracks is designed for where you want to take it. So if you are going into management roles in IT, if you want to focus on supervising others, policy, regulations, the management track is where you want to go. It's going to give you a good overview, project management, writing, technical writing. Some of these courses are more international flavored. So you're going to take at least one of those, but they'll give you good skills that you're going to need as a manager. Go ahead, Monica. I think we're going to cover, let's see here, capstone experiences. It's a little bit about, you have professional development, you have the internship or the research project. You're going to take one of those. You can do a thesis too. So you have a lot of options there to customize. And go ahead. Here are some contacts for the program. Michael Glass and Kim Tomkiewicz. Michael Glass is the program director. So he's somebody you get pretty in touch with throughout your time in the program. Great guy. Couldn't make it today, so I'm covering for him, but he's a great teacher, tenured faculty at Valpo. And at Valpo, you get this personal experience, right? Because we have small class sizes. We have very personalized experiences in the classes. You don't get taught by teaching assistants, right? Which is the experience in a lot of other colleges. You get taught by, graduate students, et cetera, et cetera. At Valpo, you get taught directly by the instructors. They're going to be in touch with you. They're going to be available for questions, be available to meet. So they'll guide you through the program, make sure you have a good experience in the program. When you have issues, you can take it to them, or you can take it to us in the graduate school. We're here to serve you as well. But that's part of what the Valpo experience is all about. And Kim Tomkiewicz, of course, is our professional advisor for the program, so she's also a great resource for admitted students. If you have any questions about the application process, please direct those to the graduate school. But once you're an admitted student, once you get into the nitty-gritty of what courses do I want to register for in my first year, what do I want to do as far as a course plan, and Kim Tomkiewicz is going to be the person to contact. So just to talk a little bit again about the program, it is a STEM program for international students. That means that you have additional time in the United States that you can spend pursuing optional practical training, or OPT, and also CPT, which means that you get, normally every student who, international student, gets to stay, I think, at least for 12 months post-graduation if they want to pursue an internship or some kind of work experience. As a STEM program, you get an additional 18 months, I believe, is the current standard. But it has been fluctuating recent times due to regulatory oversight, so it could change, could go down, could go up, depends on where the federal government is currently. But it's a great option for international students who want to get practical experience in the United States, work at a United States firm before returning to their home country. Very valuable experience for a lot of international students. So great program. One of those programs that if you do it full time, you take it spring, summer, and fall, you can get out in probably 1.5 years, actually, with a full-time course load. So some students zoom right through it, but if you're the kind of student who wants to take your time or pursue it part-time, totally an option for you, and you can still get out really quickly. So great program. If anybody has any questions about it, I see a couple of questions asking about data science, analytics, and modeling.
Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Just to cover that real quick too, because I know it's unfortunate that we can't have, the kind of personal interaction that we normally do at Visit Day, where we have different program directors present and they can do one-on-ones with students. But just to give you a quick chat about data science, it's a related program to information technology, but it goes deeper into the statistics and modeling. So whereas in IT, you're going to take data mining, that's going to kind of be your one course about data science, and data science and analytics and modeling, our data science program, you get a good broader overview of the different possibilities, the different things related to data science. Another STEM program, so a great option for international students and a great option for domestic students who really want to expand their knowledge in that area. And again, it has that little bit of overlap with IT, so you do get some IT knowledge. It's great for people who want to explore that field. Maybe they're not pros at it already, but they know it's going to be useful to advance their careers. So go ahead, go into analytics and modeling, and you get a good overview of that, some in-depth information. Mohammed Salman Afzal said, I heard that doing a STEM master's from private university lowers chances for getting an OPT. Guidance will be helpful. Haven't heard that myself, Mohammed, so I can't speak to it necessarily, but I think that, you will hear these things, you'll hear rumors, because when it comes to international students and university study, especially abroad, it's very competitive, it's very challenging. I know a lot of rumors spread easily. One thing I would advise you to do is not to let them get to you, because what's more important is the amount of work you put into it and the amount of belief you have in yourself and your ability to do things. Because if you hear these things, then you think, oh, well, I'm not going to succeed, or this is going to be a problem for me. It can be depressing, and then that's going to ultimately affect your chances much more than whatever trends are in the markets or in the field there. So you'll still have an opportunity to get OPT. A lot of our students do. And there's going to be a lot of great resources at Valpo to assist you to that end. So we have people working on getting internships for students. We have a career center that can help you with the process, preparing for interviews, preparing your resume. We have a lot of resources that are going to help you do what you need to do to get OPT. So don't let it discourage you. A lot of our international students run into that problem, and it can be very stressful, it can be very intense. Even before you get here and you go through your visa interview, it can be intensely stressful. Not exactly the experience a lot of domestic students have, but for internationals, that's a much bigger journey to cross an ocean, go study in some place you're not familiar with, it's alien to you. So keep it up. Don't let it discourage you. And if you have any more questions, you want more in-depth info, feel free to email me. I'll definitely give you some additional info on that. Any other questions?
I just want to touch base on Mohammed's question also regarding the analytics and modeling program. We actually did record a webinar that's really in depth, talking about the curriculum, what opportunities you may have with the program director, Tiffany Kolba. So I think that would be a really great video for you to take a look at and really compare which program you think that you may want to apply to, or maybe talk with Michael Glass or Tiffany regarding your eligibility and maybe the opportunities there are for either program. So I think this would be a really great opportunity post-event for you to take a look at the analytics and modeling. And I will also link our YouTube channel towards the end. So I will make sure to add those towards the email and maybe in the chat, so you can take a look at that and subscribe. I think subscribing would be a really great thing for everyone to do, because we will alert you of any new videos that we have. And they're not just for prospective students. Our current students get highlighted in our YouTube channel, and it's a really great way for you to see maybe the highlights that our current students have done, or if you are a current student later on, some highlights, especially with COVID, we've switched to a virtual graduation. And I think it's really nice that all the achievements that our graduate students have really done in the past, 1, 2, 3, 4 years. So they'll be added towards the end.
Yeah. And unfortunately, everybody, we can't cover every question, every program in depth. This day is a great opportunity to get a nice overview, and that's what we're going to do today. So covered some information from the programs. You've heard from the program directors themselves. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to our student panel. So go ahead, Monica, and students.
Thank you, Ryan. I also want to apologize. Apparently it's landscaping day in my neighborhood, and you may hear some leaf blowers, but that's just the joys of doing things virtually, right? So I want to introduce our student panel. They're each from different programs, and I would like for Sri, are you here? I know that he was in the midst of traveling. Let's start with Aaron.
Sure, yeah. So hi everyone, I'm Aaron. I'm representing the analytics and modeling program actually, so I could probably answer a couple questions related to what's been asked. Yeah.
And then we have Nathan Cheek, who's also here with us.
Hello, sorry, my video hadn't worked, but anyway, I am a sport administration student, first semester here with the university. So I'd be happy to answer any questions with regards to the program, and thank you for joining us today.
And then we also have Carol.
Hey guys, as you might see by my name, I'm with the Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to thank you for your time and to be here to answer any questions that any of our guests have. I know that Mohammed has some questions for Aaron. You are free to either unmute yourself or add in the chat. Hopefully we won't get any interference between questions. But one thing that I do want to mention is I think this is a great opportunity for you to ask about their experience, what they're currently working on, and a few other questions that I think that we've had asked in the past is, why Valpo? Why did you choose our program? What is it about Valparaiso? Was it location? Was it, the program director that you met with, friends? I also like when students ask those types of questions. I think that you're all asking yourselves, what program do I belong to? Which school is the right choice for me? And sometimes it's a personal decision, and a lot of times it's, the program itself. Mohammed, did you have any specific questions regarding the AMOD program?
Well, actually, before actually, go ahead, Mohammed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, Aaron,
Yep.
I would like to, so I have a background of computer science. I am basically from Pakistan, and I have work experience in an AI company for almost 3 years now, and now I want to basically move towards the data analytics, data science, data engineering, and these buzzwords. So basically to shift to these areas. So I just want to know your experience regarding this course, and so just want to know that this course prepares well for the job market that needs skills like Python, machine learning, sort of these things. Very helpful
Sure.
for your reply.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background about myself. Before I was at Valpo, I did my undergraduate at Augustana College, and I did applied mathematics and computer science. So I'm familiar with a lot of different languages: Java, JavaScript, Python. Python's probably the one that I use primarily now. And so the AMOD program kind of is for the reason why I, for instance, had chose Valpo with their program here is because it puts the mathematics and the computer science together. So, I started in the summer here this past summer, and, you'll deal with classes relating to more of the applied mathematics area where you're doing, I took a class in infectious diseases. So you're modeling epidemics, kind of ironic, but you get a little bit of the application of differential equations. You can go into partial differential equations as well. So you're trying to model things there that way. You also get into some of the computer science. Like right now I'm taking a class called simulation and modeling. So we're using ABMs, or agent-based models, they call them. And so we use NetLogo, we're using MATLAB, we're using SimEvent right now in MATLAB, which is simulating events that go on. You also do get into the statistics as well, because statistics is a part of that prediction kind of stuff, as you know about machine learning with decision trees and stuff like that. They have with the statistics, you get into, for instance, right now I'm taking a time series analysis class. So you're trying to get models that predict the future about, in mathematical models using statistics. You also have, for instance, statistics classes relating to making decisions. So during the summer, I took a class for statistics for decision making. You get to learn the ins and outs of what you need to be doing depending on what kind of data you're given, what to be trying to, what statistics you should be using to predict stuff. Yeah, I mean, the program also has been, into, as what Ryan has talked about as well, some of the IT stuff. So you can also get into database kind of stuff. I'm taking a database class right now, so I'm learning SQL. I'm dealing with a MySQL database. You get to learn the ins and outs of that kind of stuff as well. So it's combining everything of the mathematics, the statistics, and the computer science program. I hope that gives a general view of what you're hoping to get as an answer. If you have any further questions on that, I can go further on that.
No, thanks. These are very helpful. Thank you.
And Aaron, just a question for you too. You mentioned you were taking time series analysis. Are you intending to work toward the SAS certificate?
So I am taking a SAS class as well. That is, so again, with the analytics and modeling program, there are a lot of different electives you could choose from. So you can really tailor it to what you want. So I'm taking a SAS class and I'm planning on doing the SAS certification. I took a class in R, so it was a 1-credit class for that, but I now know R as well, so I'm familiar. That's a very data science language, it's used pretty commonly, as well as Python. I'm used to using pandas, and NumPy and all that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah. And the SAS certificate, if you pursue that, to Mohammed's point about industry prep, marketability of skills, I mean, SAS is huge. So if you get that experience, if you work towards that certificate, that's going to be an extra notch on your resume that I think will be very valuable to take to potential employers. So thank you, Aaron. What I think is also useful here is if we let's get some kind of introductory experience talk from each of our student panelists here. So Carol, if you want to go forward and talk a little bit about what the CMHC program has been like for you too.
Yeah, I would love to share that. I've been in the CMHC program for about 1.5 years now. I'm in the midst of my 2nd year. Like Dr. Z had mentioned, I'm doing kind of a slower track than the traditionally designed crazy full-time track. But also I have 4 kids and I work and stuff like that. But I think it should be noted that for most of my semesters, I'll be taking 9 credits, which technically is still full-time. So I'm able to get, you know, good financial aid and things like that, which has helped me be able to fund being in the program. But I mean, this program has been amazing. Like the professors to me is one of the key, like, just valuable pieces of the program. All the professors are extremely just knowledgeable in their field. The fact that they're practicing or have practiced just adds like more that they can offer us as students. They're really invested in us and in our success and push us to just develop professionally and also just individually. One thing that I've been really impressed by is how seriously the honor code is taken, and not just in enforcing it, but us enforcing it within ourselves. You know, they're not standing over us being like, okay, you know, are you doing this the way that you're supposed to? It's really on us to develop that integrity, which I feel is much more important than, you know, a school forcing you into that. So I think that that's really unique. The feedback that they give us on our assignments and as we progress through the program is just astounding, especially coming, you know, going from an undergrad program into this program. I mean, just the depth that they go into to really make sure that we're learning these things, have a full understanding, and that we're gaining everything that they intend it's above and beyond, really. I mean, I just got feedback on a project that I did, and I mean, I kid you not, this feedback, probably if I had printed it out, would have been at least a full page or 2 of like, okay, here's this, here's where it was good, here's where you could have improved. And it's really valuable. And even the way that the program is designed, it's not just, you know, here, take this test. It's very just making sure that you have that actual applicable knowledge of the material. I love the K-Prep flexibility of our program because they even go above and beyond, I think, what Indiana requires. So we, you know, I feel confident that if I were to want to move out of state or work out of state in one of our neighboring states, that I would be able to do that really well. And another key part of our program is that we're able to take the counseling exam for our first level of licensure while we're still working in the program. So that shortens the amount of time once you graduate that you'll have to have that supervision and then be able to get your full licensure, which a lot of programs I think don't have that. I think Dr. Z mentioned the internships. Like those opportunities are just amazing. I mean, just we have such a rich community around us where we can have places that we can do our internships and practicums, a lot of really good quality places. Amber, I have not done my clinical placements yet. I'll be starting that this summer since I'm doing a bit of a slower track. But I am looking to possibly go to Heartland, which is addictions and behavioral recovery place, possibly the Lake County Jail. One great thing is that the counseling center on campus also does internships, and I mean the experience that they provide is really, really solid and thorough. I know other people in my cohort have done Parkdale, which is an addictions place over in Chesterton. Someone else I know is doing an internship at a private practice, Pillars of Health. I think they have places in Valpo and Maryville. It's really all over the place. Let's see. Oh, I see the question about COVID, and I have to say that COVID for everybody has been really intense, especially in the academic setting, you know, trying to figure out how can we get the best educational experience and still be safe. And I think Valpo has handled it really, really well, especially now seeing that our semester is about to end and cases are starting to rise. I think that that was a really, really great foresight on behalf of Valpo to take out our breaks and shorten our semester. And I mean, it was definitely a rugged experience, but seeing how things are progressing, I think it was definitely a wise course of action. And right now I'm doing a mix of online and in class. And we actually had one student in one of my in-person classes test positive for COVID, but due to the measures that Valpo has taken of like keeping us far apart, everybody's wearing masks constantly, they're spraying down the seats after every single class. I mean, no one else got it. I mean, we were all really safe, and I feel really great about the precautions that they've taken. And then just being online, obviously it's best to be in person, but the quality of our classes is still great, and all of the professors are still like in there putting in 110%, giving us the best experience. They're not just being lazy and like, oh, here's a slideshow, just look at it and whatever, you know. I mean, they're really engaged with us for the full class time and back and forth. And still, I mean, it's still a great quality. And then Jasmine, being a full-time student with schedules and other life priorities, it's intense. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot. I mean, grad school is very intense, but you're also really focused on something that you're hopefully passionate about. So I mean, it's really worth it, in my opinion. You definitely have to work on your time management right out the gate. I mean, I don't really take time to watch TV. Like, I save that for breaks. Like, I don't read recreationally right now. I take the time that I need for my own self-care, like, you know, exercising or getting out and going for a hike or doing something that fulfills me in some way. But you definitely have to manage your time really well.
Yeah, you know, Carol, you know, I mentioned earlier that the programs, you can complete some of them pretty quick, 1.5, 2 years. And I think personally, you know, you can probably testify to this too, just the perception of time, those years are going to fly by.
Yeah.
Because you will be so busy.
It's true. I mean, the other students in my cohort, I mean, they, I think, have 2 semesters until they graduate. And it's just like, it seems like we just started, you know. But seeing how everybody has progressed so quickly and so richly throughout that is really amazing, you know.
Thank you, Carol. I know that Sri joined the call, so I wanted to give him an opportunity to introduce himself and maybe talk about your experience as a student here, what you're currently doing, anything that you want to speak on.
Thanks a lot. Hello all. It's really good to be here. It's a great Saturday, and I hope I can, you know, share my experiences, and I hope that helps in some small way. Carol, that was great. Thanks a lot for that. So I would like to echo with something Carol just said. The one thing would be integrity. So that is something which was reinforced constantly through my time at Valpo. Let me just start by saying that I'm currently a student at Valpo, but I'm currently based out of Bay Area because I'm pursuing an internship here. I'm interning with Tesla at the moment, but I'll be graduating in December. I'm a international student, so with the IT department, graduate student with the IT department. And I like to say that my experiences with Valpo has been one that was, you know, it started unexpectedly, but every single day over there has been great in my opinion, because I got to meet some great people, some really friendly people, some you know, some really genuine people, and made plenty of great friends. It's a very relaxed place, some great professors, and you have some really great facilities. The library is my favorite. It is a little unfortunate in terms of COVID. I mean, that is a situation all around, right? So I'm really glad to hear that, that this semester has been handled so well. I get feedback from so many students who are currently pursuing their, studying in the fall semester. I think they're all doing great. I'm really happy to hear the updates which come out of Valpo. So let me just say that I was at Valpo for almost a year and a half now. And, I just only have the most positive things to say. And yeah, let me just, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you. We can let Aaron speak on his experience and what you're currently doing.
Sure. Yeah. So right now, like I said, I'm just a full-time student. I'm doing 12 credits right now. I've just been taking classes primarily, but like for instance, I know I've been in communication with Dr. Kolba, the program director, about looking to do possibly some research during the spring. So that's an opportunity that, doing that. I know that there's been a question somewhat about internships. That was for both AMOD and IT. It really depends on when you start your program. So like, for instance, like I said, I started in the summer. So like I'm planning on doing an internship. You don't have to do an internship. That's one of the options that you can do. You can either do like a thesis route, like as what's been talked about in other programs as well. You could do that, or you could do the internship. I personally am looking to do an internship. Like I'm trying to do it for the summer of 2021. And so for me, like I've already started applying to places. It's better to start earlier rather than later. But I mean, this is a really early time. There aren't like a lot of places out there that have started offering summer internships. Like I myself have applied to about 40 as of right now. But yeah, I've just been as a full-time student here, basically taking classes and, looking for prepping myself for experience with research. You can do that. There are a lot of different options out there for doing research, as well as then doing an actual internship as well.
And it's challenging too, Aaron, as you can probably imagine, applying for 40 different internships. It's not easy getting in a place. Some people have great outcomes, some people don't have the best outcomes. I know at Valpo, we're going to help you do whatever you need to do, whatever you want to do, as high as you want to go with it. There's going to be resources here and people who are going to care about you, help you every step of the way. But you got to bring it too, as far as your own commitment to it, your own dedication. I guarantee if you work hard at it and you really set your sights, we're going to get you there. So you'll definitely make it there. But it's tough. It's tough. And there's options for you regardless of what happens. So you can't make it to the internship you want. You'll still have great options for research project or something else we work on. You get some really great stuff going there. You'll have opportunities to present research. We have a symposium that we do every year. And it's a great way to, do research, present it, get great feedback. And some people do some really excellent research projects that are shown off at symposium, like really stellar stuff. So I don't want to leave out Nathan here. I know I haven't had a chance to get to Nathan yet. So Nathan, please talk to us a little bit about your experiences in the sports editing program.
Thank you. So I will, to my knowledge, I don't think anybody has pointed out if any potential sport administration potential students, but that's okay. I'll just share my overall experience within the program. So right now I am taking 12 hours, four classes, 3 hours each. So just recently, about a week and a half ago, before that, had 3 online courses, and I had 1 in person. And about a week and a half ago, the professor, Dr. Rowling, who's actually the program director, he had sent all of us, when I meet, he said he sent all of his students for the in-person class an email that we're actually going virtual for the rest of the semester due to the large amounts of students being in quarantine or ill. So I am now completely virtual for the rest of the semester. But I think just overall, one thing I do want to emphasize is time management. So I am mainly I mainly take classes, and then I also have a local part-time job, and then I'm also a college basketball official. I work at the Division III level in NCAA as well as the NAIA. So I mean, I think like through this pandemic, we're obviously in challenging times right now, and so like, and you got to be able to manage your time. So, and I believe that, sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. So I think so. I actually like I said, Dr. Rowling is the program director. He's got several connections all throughout. So like he's brought several years of working in the sport industry of experience before coming to Valpo as a professor. But as far as location is concerned, whether you're online or on site, no matter where you are, Valparaiso's a great location. You're about an hour from Chicago. You're an hour from South Bend, 2 hours from Fort Wayne, Indianapolis. So it's a great way to if you're applying for an internship or a potential job, those are great places to be at. And Valparaiso is kind of right in the middle of everything, which is nice. So right now, as far as the opportunities are concerned, I would say that so basically all VU students use Blackboard for their course information, submit assignments. And so there is actually, for myself as a sport administration student, there is so I'm in the Department of Kinesiology, and there are several faculty members that every now and then post potential job openings, whether that's part-time or full-time. But they also post about career fairs, internship opportunities. So they're out there. But yeah. And lastly, I do want to share about the So I basically got my undergrad from Indiana Wesleyan University, and I actually I I went straight from my bachelor's to my master's. I didn't take any gap years or whatnot. But I think for just like it for just for anybody really, I think it's great that or I think I would definitely prefer, if possible, to go straight into your master's, because that's just gonna you're just gonna stand out more in that. And I think that, like with the like right now in this pandemic, where we've kind of hit a low again, but sooner or later we're going to get past this. And so like basically the like once we experience the towards the end of the recovery phase, that's when like that's when a lot of the jobs will start opening back up, more than they have been right now. So yeah, just like having an advanced degree definitely makes you stand out more. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nathan.
I want to talk about something real quick there that he mentioned, Monica, sorry. But, he talked about Dr. Rowling and his connections. And this is one of the great things about Valpo that makes it a privilege to work here, is that our faculty are so knowledgeable. They're so great, whatever program you're going to find yourself in. Dr. Rowling and his experiences and connections in the industry. Dr. Zalhusky in the counseling program. She's been great, excellent, knowledgeable. Her work on the pandemic parenting series that she's been working on has been featured in the New York Times and Washington Post. Dr. Zanislaw and Kolba in the math department, great resources, smartest people I've ever known. So whatever program you're in, there's great people that you're working with, and it is challenging right now, but they're going to help you out. So great student panel. I think we just need to kind of move on here. Monica, go right ahead.
Just a quick answer to the PA question. Unfortunately, we don't offer a graduate portion of the PA. We get that question many times a week. And unfortunately, I have to always respond with, we don't offer the graduate portion. The program is a 3+2 program. It's at the point of admission in your undergraduate degree. So unfortunately, we don't offer that, maybe in the future, but it is a really wonderful program, and hopefully we can offer another variation of it in the future. So I wish you the best of luck in your search, but unfortunately, we don't offer that graduate portion of it. So I just want to thank our student panel again for being a part of this. I think it's really nice for prospective students to get a student perspective, as well as a faculty or program director perspective, or even our perspective. I think it's really nice for you to speak on each of your programs, the differences and between all of our students and how successful they all end up being. So thank you again. And if you have any follow-up questions for any of them, feel free to email me and I'll be happy to redirect those questions over to them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. And I tell you, maybe I'm a little biased. I think we have the best students around too, honestly. Like, I've employed so many aides in the graduate school personally from different programs, and every one I get has just been stellar and rock solid. So I just can't even believe it, but thank you all.
So we are going to move on to the graduate school portion. We have six people within the graduate school. Our acting dean is Trisha Mileham. And then we have Ryan, who is our director of graduate enrollment operations.
And that's me.
We also have Marcia, who is our administrative assistant to the dean. Jessica Segali, she's the assistant director of student services. Stephanie Kincaid is our assistant director of student services. So they are going to be your guides once you become a student. If you are admitted and then start registering, you're going to start seeing my communication and Ryan's communication sort of drift off over to receiving communication more from Jessica and Stephanie. They're going to be your current student guides We are more for prospective student questions. We have access to different programs. So they are the gurus to current student programs and questions, while we can answer a lot of your questions in the beginning stages. Then there's me, Monica Perez. I'm the Assistant Director for Graduate Admissions. One thing that we always strive to do is just commit ourselves to really wonderful, in-depth, just in the field, in-demand programs. So a lot of the awards that we get, we try to consistently get year over year. We try to make sure that our programs are competitive with a lot of the Chicagoland programs in tuition. We try to make sure that we are accommodating to our professional students, such as our part-time MBA program, and just overall the quality of programs. We try to make sure that every program, we make sure we do checks and balances of the quality, the assurance, and I think that our program directors are really excellent at doing that. A lot of the student support that our current students in the panel have talked about, and also that was represented in our presentation, we provide a lot of academic support. A lot of our program directors, they really make sure that you are getting supported right in the beginning. What I love about the graduate school, and especially you'll notice this from undergrad going into graduate school, the class sizes are going to be much smaller. Sometimes it's a nice recruitment tactic in undergrad to have a big school, a big environment. But one thing that I think as you get older and you go for a professional degree is you really want a program where you're going to have every professor really pay attention to what's going on with each of their students. So that's really important. We also have advising support. And I think advising also extends to Jessica and what Stephanie do. They don't necessarily advise you in your classes, but I think they're a really great resource when you have questions regarding your internship forms or anything that you have questions regarding maybe a potential hold that you may not know about. I think that that also extends to our graduate student staff. We have internship assistants. One of our great resources that we have is our career services and also our current faculty that offer just connections like Carol mentioned, like our other student panel mentioned. Just the amount of connections that our faculty really have really help our students obtain internships and work on campus. We have our academic symposium that Ryan quickly touched on. It's a really great opportunity to showcase your research, anything that you're currently working on, all those extra things that you are doing, especially in these tough times where a lot of employers may be cutting back on internships or job opportunities. Anything where you can stand out and find an opportunity in a location or a place that you may not necessarily, or even using COVID to your benefit is really important. So just doing any type of research, like the research that Dr. Zalahowski is doing, using COVID to her benefit, making sure that she's researching on what's going on currently with parents and children and being able to utilize that to help her students and herself. We also offer the Graduate Student Advisory Council. Two from our student panel are actually a part of that. It's a really great council. It's an advocate for graduate students to be able to share their experiences, meet periodically, often enough to where they're voicing their opinions and just talking about any current updates, but also not so many times where they feel overwhelmed, because we know that you're working professionals, you have a lot of other obligations outside of the classroom. So that's something that, again, Jessica is the one that will manage that and keep in touch with you on and let you know of any opportunities. Also, social events. Social events are more virtual events right now, but I think that the social events that we hold, and I like to still say hold, because hopefully one day we can still continue doing our picnics and our dinners and our lunches. I think that's something that we really like to do because it not only allows us to showcase the entire graduate school as a whole, but also a lot of these are recognition for the hard work that you've done. We have typically a dean's reception for all those students that receive several awards. Before graduation, we have a reception. We have that picnic. It's usually during a really nice, beautiful late or early fall day. And those are things that we hope to continue on doing. We have the graduation banquet, again, recognition for all the hard work that you've done. And hopefully we'll continue to do that as well. And like I mentioned, our career services, they're, like Carol mentioned earlier in the chat, it's a really great resource to get your resume looked at. They are always notifying their students of any fairs that are going on, and they like to separate their fairs based on interest. Sometimes there's a nursing and health professions fair, there's a general graduate school fair. So if you're interested in graduate studies, we're always a part of that. They connect with different employers around the area to do employment fairs. So those are really important to, even if you're not looking for anything at the moment, if you're in your first semester and you're just looking around, I think that's a really great resource to get in touch with career services. And then we also host an orientation. I get a question a lot, when is my orientation? When am I going to register for classes? You are always very anxious to start, and that makes me so excited. But orientation is actually a really great event where we showcase everything that you need to know for what's expected as a student. So you're going to learn more about other student resources, how to get your ID, parking, IT support. You're going to meet other students who are starting their first semester. So anytime that I get those questions, I get excited to let them know that we have an orientation coming up specifically for students who are starting. And I think that's a really great event where we get to showcase and allow you to register for classes and meet your advisors. We have several different graduate programs depending on your interest. You showcase those interests already, but we do have several others that might have not been highlighted. If you have any questions regarding any of these programs, I can certainly send you a little bit more detailed information like curriculum, who the program director may be. If you ever want to set up a Zoom meeting with them and myself, I'm more than happy to do that. I am available on campus on Tuesday. So if you ever want to schedule an in-person visit with me, and then we can do a really nice social distance tour. I think that this week would have been a great week for that because the weather is just so beautiful right now. But we offer that if you are interested. We do offer certificate programs as well. And I think these are really great because it's just a nice add-on. Like Dr. Zalahowski mentioned, we do have the trauma-informed care certificate. And what's really nice about these certificates is you already have requirements to do electives within the graduate programs. So you can always add on that certificate and then just be able to continue with your program with not that many credits added to your program. The application checklist is very simple to follow. A lot of you have already applied. All of this is actually listed on our website. The portal is the best resource. And myself, if you ever have questions regarding your portal, getting access to your portal, I'm more than happy to showcase that for you, send you any links. Everything you need to know regarding English proficiency scores, what we offer or what we accept as far as your reflective essay, your letters of recommendation, all of that is listed on our website. The review process, like I mentioned before, we go through it, make sure it's completed. We take it over to either Ryan or myself just to do a final check, and then it's sent over to the program director, and then the dean does a final send off. So that's probably why sometimes you feel that it may be taking a week or two. It's because we're taking it through several lines of processes to make sure that everything looks good on our end, and then you'll receive an email letting you know of an update. The online admissions letter is located in that email, and that's where you receive your update. The next steps are just intent to enroll and registration orientation, which I can help you and then move you along to Stephanie, who will help you with the registration form with your advisor and your program director. Here's a quick layout of tuition and fees. This is also located on our website. Very simple to follow though. All master's programs other than nursing and health professions are $650 per credit hour. And depending on the program of your interest, that would be just multiplying it by the credit hours. We do have fees that range anywhere from $2,000 to $1,000 for the program. So that can be found on our website as well. But I think that just knowing $650 or $715 is a good rule of thumb to follow based on the credit hours that your program is. We
And
do
the
offer,
MBA program is a little more expensive, but
yes.
the whole program is 30,000, which for an MBA at the same profile as ours, ACSB accredited, very prestigious, very selective, great program, good cost.
Great question, Amber. Tuition is the same for all students because we are a private institution. So you don't have to worry about knowing whether it's in-state or out-of-state fees. We try to stay very competitive because we are so close to the Chicagoland area. We do compare ourselves within that 50 to 100-mile range within tuition costs. And I do find that when I go to conferences, our tuition is very competitive to other programs, even our MBA program, like Ryan mentioned. So I think that's something that we, even though we're a private institution, we still pride ourselves on affordability. We do offer financial aid in different forms. So we have financial aid for our international students. Those are merit-based scholarships that are at the point of admission. I do get several questions about scholarships when international students will email me. They're at the point of admission. They range anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000 for the first 2 semesters of classes, spring and fall. And that's something that you'll be notified in your admissions letter if you were eligible. We have a lot of applicants and they're very competitive. So we do try to disperse them in a even amount, if you can say that, but we really try to give our students scholarships. Now with our domestic students, we offer financial aid. We ask that you complete your FAFSA form and that you're at least half time or more to receive the aid. So you can't just do 3 credit hours and be eligible for financial aid. And that's something that Anne, I think she's a fantastic resource. Not that I don't want to talk to students about financial aid in my emails, but I think that if you have follow-up questions, Anne's just a really great resource to set up a plan for you, especially if you're looking to receive only half, or if you have a specific budget in mind or affordability that you have. She's a really great resource for that. And you can take up to $20,500 per year for the program that you're doing.
And another note on scholarships, since that is something people ask about a lot, they're very limited. So don't feel, left out if you didn't receive one. Most students don't receive one. And even the amounts that we are able to offer, not terribly high. So very selective for scholarship consideration. We do try to evaluate every single student, domestic and international, for a scholarship. But if you didn't receive one, don't worry. You were still doing a good job just getting admitted to the program. Graduate admission is a competitive process. So many students are not admitted to the program. It's kind of a high bar, and a lot of our programs have pretty high bars.
Very true. It's a little bit different than what you have experienced maybe in your undergrad. There's just a lot more to choose from, a lot more donors gearing more towards undergrad admissions. Same thing with just the universities in general. So unfortunately, we just don't have a big pot like undergrad does. And that's every institution, right? But I do recommend you contact Anne if you have any questions regarding any financial aid questions that may be a little bit more personal. I think she would be a better contact to just talk over what your budget is and what you're looking to pursue and how you may go about that. She has many years of experience and will be able to let you know of any possible grants, FAFSA, deadlines, any questions you have in the application itself. So definitely seek out her advice.
And international students are on the call, not eligible for financial aid as an international student, but you still have opportunities with on-campus work. You do need to be able to self-fund your studies or have a sponsor who will fund your studies for you. But once you get here, there are going to be opportunities. There may be grants that you can apply for, other things that you can look to do just to give yourself, a little bit more of padding or cushion there once you get here.
Any particular questions you have around the application process or financial aid that you have currently? Scrolling through something. Thank you, Carol, again for your feedback. I think that, again, a student's perspective is always really nice on that. And thank you for the feedback that you have given us.
Yeah, and I want to answer Mohammed's question about on-campus work too, because you wanted to ask about on-campus jobs. So like I just mentioned, for international students, you have limited opportunities to work in the United States while you are a student. One of those opportunities, though, is on campus. So you are able to work on campus in a variety of different positions. Now, things like assistantships can vary by program. Most of our programs are taught by the faculty themselves. So the teaching assistantships are not things that you commonly see. And assistantships are things that you would apply for once you get here, once you're in your first semester at least, usually for later semesters of study. But there's still on-campus job opportunities. Like I said earlier, the graduate school employs student aides. Other departments on campus also employ aides. There's opportunities in dining services, at the library, some limited opportunities in our IT department. So it's a thing that you can work toward once you get here. It is something, though, that you'll have to wait once you get here before you really want to pursue. So once you arrive on campus, happy to help you. We're happy to point you in the direction, let you know of any opportunities as they arise. But it is something that, a lot of students who want to work, who can balance those obligations of full-time study as an international student or domestic student, and also work at the same time, there's opportunities and you can pursue them.
And our Office of International Programs is a really great resource also because they employ students, and there may be some mentors that you may seek to that may help you with, what steps they've done to work on campus. Our career services will allow you to set up a handshake account where you can't look at postings around campus. So say even if you're a domestic clinical mental health counseling student, all the positions within the psychology department are full. Look elsewhere. And we have had some of our best student aides have been from those programs, and they've worked in our department, in other departments. There's a lot of opportunity, maybe not within the field that you're interested in, but definitely on campus. Some may have shifted based on COVID. Some may be more virtual. Some you may do in the comfort of your own home. But definitely seek out the Career Center to set up a handshake account because you'll be able to see all postings when they are available. And it also is a really great way for you to set up a really good CV and see, record everything that you have done, give good ratings to schools based on their fairs that you've attended. So that's another really great resource that our career service office will help you with. OIP and career services are really great resources for our graduate students.
Yeah, and just a quick thank you to the international students on the call who've joined us, because while for us here in the United States, it's still morning, I know in Asia right now, it's late at night. So if you were able to join us and you stayed up this late with us, we really appreciate you.
And again, even those not in attendance, I know, Nathan, you were saying there weren't currently any interest for sports programs, but this is recorded or this will be recorded. And I think your feedback was definitely valuable. And I think that one thing that I always like to share is just our past videos, because sometimes just having a conversation via email is great, but viewing videos like these from students' perspectives are always wonderful for students to see. So thank you for your feedback. We do have a question from Amber. So I sent my transcript and it has not been updated on my application portal. Is there a way to see if it has been received?
And I can answer that real quick, Monica. We have received it, and I just checked your portal actually to satisfy the requirement. So there's been some delays in processing materials, particularly transcripts, but I checked our queue and we do have it in. So.
And if you have any follow-up questions, or if any of you have questions like that, feel free to email us. We can quickly check our files and portals, and I can email Ryan, I can email our staff and make sure that we at least know how to update you and give you the best answer. So we won't be watching the entire campus tour, but one thing that our marketing team has done is a really wonderful virtual campus tour. We do have 2 undergraduate students giving the tour, but I think they're fantastic and they highlight all of our buildings in a really great way, especially if you're an international student and you want to get a feel for the campus. I think this is a really great video. I'll play like a quick minute of it, but it's You can find it on our website. You can also email me and I can send it to you. And in the next slides, I'll show you where you can subscribe to our YouTube channels.
What's up, everybody? My name is Joey. I'm a third-year student here at Valpo studying health science.
Hey guys, my name's Anna and I'm a civil engineering student. We are super excited to take you around Valpo today. We're going to show you around all our different buildings and what we have to offer. My personal favorite thing about Valpo is the opportunities I have here to lead and serve.
And I love the fact that we have this individual attention that we get from our professors. So now that we kind of introduced ourselves, let's go on tour. All right, so we're here in the Chapel of Resurrection.
And fun fact, the chapel here at Valpo is the largest collegiate chapel in the United States. Wow.
So here at Valpo, there's a lot of ways to worship. In fact, there's 8 ways to worship every week. We have 5 services Monday through Friday called morning prayer, where we take 20 minutes out of our morning.
And then on Wednesday nights, we have Celebrate, which is a student-led service, a little bit more contemporary. We have live music. And then our Pastor Jim and Deaconess Kristen give a little bit of a sermon. That's personally my favorite one. And then we have Sunday morning prayer, which is a traditional Lutheran service. And then we have Sunday candlelight at night, and that's singing hymns, and it's all done in candlelight, super beautiful service. You don't have to be Lutheran to come here, though. We are a very welcoming community. We accept people of all different faiths and backgrounds. So the chapel is really awesome because it's not just used as a place of worship. There are tons of things that go on in here.
Yeah, so anything from opening convocation, where we're welcoming the freshmen into our community, to concerts.
Martin Luther King Day celebrations, awesome stuff goes on in here.
So I will pause that, but as you can see, I wanted to highlight the chapel because that is where commencement takes place. And like she mentioned, a lot of other events are hosted there. So even if you're not a Lutheran faith, we invite students of all different faiths and backgrounds. And I personally love walking through the chapel, especially when it's empty. It gives me a sense of peace. That's one of my favorite places to just walk through. You'll find students practicing the organ instruments, and I think it's a beautiful centerpiece to our campus. But if you're interested in viewing the rest of all the campus has to offer, definitely take a look at this video. It's about 19 to 20 minutes long, but it's definitely worth a view. And I think it's a really great way for you to experience campus virtually. But I wanted to also share.
What's up, everybody? My name is Joey.
You can follow us also on social media. That's where we post any updates as to any upcoming events that we may have. Jessica also likes to post any current student highlights, especially with symposiums and commencement. That's something that we always like to highlight our students. Students love seeing themselves on our social media and sharing it with family members and students that may be from other schools, see what they're up to. So definitely follow us on social media. And then here's where you can subscribe to either the graduate school YouTube page and also the main university YouTube page. These are both really great resources. I think our marketing team does a wonderful job in highlighting all programs, events that happened. We have beautiful photography and wonderful videos. So I think that that's definitely something that you should check out.
And I'm linking everybody in the chat to the graduate school's YouTube page for later. And those videos are probably going to look a little bit better. I think they're a little choppy from what I'm seeing on my screen here. A little more like slideshows, but go straight to the YouTube channel and get some great stuff.
You can always replay, pause, and especially for those of you that are interested in analytics and modeling, nursing, health professions, we have an MPH program webinar that we did in the past. So those are just some videos that we have recorded and that I always refer current or prospective students to look back on, because I think that it's really nice to see the program director talking about the program and any specific things that may be different program to program.
And we'll be doing some more of those program webinars in the future too. So keep an eye on your emails. Might just get an invite.
Any other questions that we may answer in the next couple minutes?
We did have a question from Faith about tuition and deadlines. Just a reminder, for domestic students, most of our programs have rolling admission deadlines. So you can apply generally up to the start of classes. There are just a couple select programs that have very hard deadlines. The Doctor of Nursing practice is just one of those programs. I believe the deadline is currently set at April 15. They need all their applications in by that point, and then they'll do a big committee review thereafter and have a large release of decisions in May. CMHC is another program that has a deadline, but it's a priority deadline. Monica, what's the priority deadline for CMHC? Do you know that offhand?
Priority deadline is February 1st. We typically require students to, I don't like to push the priority deadline, but I think it's important because it gives you first consideration. We don't close applications for CMHC students on February 1st, but it allows you to be part of the interview day with possibly other students and see who may be part of your cohort. That's one thing that I know was mentioned in the chat is, do we have a cohort model? We do. I think it's really nice. It helps your success in the program. We really try to group students with each other, but we'll continue accepting applications until Mandy or Dr. Z tell me that they are full. But I think that the priority deadline is really important because it allows you to really be considered firsthand, be prepared if you know already that you're interested.
Yeah, and as a graduate student, definitely be on the ball. If you're a prospective student, you're still in the application process, you really need to show that because it is a selective process. And what our admissions committee is looking for is going to be very detailed. It's going to be very much focused on whether you're going to be a good fit for the program, whether the program will be a good fit for your career goals. It's a lot different from undergrad, right? Where undergrad, you're kind of testing the waters, you're exploring different areas. You can always change your major. Some people do that in the last year, in their senior year. Oh, I don't want to study something else. At the graduate level, it's really honed down. It's really focused on, you need to be the perfect fit for this program. You need to be the right fit for this program. If you're not the right fit, then we don't want you in it. And that's not against you necessarily. That's just a matter of, we want this program to benefit you. We want you to succeed in this program, and we want you to have a great outcome in this program. So a lot of times, even if you're denied in the application process for a program you picked, it may not be anything to do with your academic credentials. It may just be that the committee saw your intent, they read your essay, and they say, this is not the program for your goals in life. So at Valpo, we're focused on helping you achieve your goals. We're focused on making sure that you make the right choices. We're not just going to let you go into any graduate program that you see fits or just to get you in as a student. We really want you to succeed. We really want you to have a great experience. So that's just a little word about the selectivity of the process and the admissions.
Also, beginning the application process is really important to do now. One thing that I have a lot of prospective students confused on is they don't submit the application because they feel they need to submit all the other supplemental items with it. Please submit the application. That's part of the process. In order for you, once you submit the application, it gives you access to this portal that we keep talking about. That gives you access to the online recommendation form. There's a payment form, which we will waive your application fee if you were part of this visit day. So feel free to email me. I will waive that for you, but it allows you to submit your items that way and also view your checklist. It allows you to be a little bit more proactive on what's going on with your file.
Yeah. And it plugs you into communication with us. So a lot of students wait till that last minute and then they send their application off and throw the materials out there. But really this whole process, applying, getting admitted, it's a conversation. It's starting with, students who express their interest, want to get more information. What we're here as support staff is to pair people together with the programs, with the program directors, get them detailed info, make sure that they know they're pursuing the right decision for the program that they want to, apply for. So it's all a long process, conversation. It's not something you have to have everything together at the forefront of it. It's something that you have to be fully prepared for before you even engage with us. We really want you to just reach out to us, talk to us, and we'll help you through the process to the best we can. So we're coming up on noon, Monica.
Yeah.
And this has been a great session. It's been great speaking with everybody here. I'm glad we're able to just, make the mark here. We were intending to keep this to 2 hours. I know that's a long time for everybody to keep focused and keep in. I thank everybody for their patience. Thank everybody for their input, especially our student panelists. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Sri.
Thank you, everyone. And again, any questions, please direct them to Ryan, myself, or the graduate school email. We're happy to help you. And have a good weekend.
Yes, have a good weekend, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
God, how do I end this?
Oh, just leave meeting and it should cancel it.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, Ryan, have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, Faith.